In 2022, Bonolo, not her real name, allegedly killed her boyfriend by stabbing him with a sharp object during a brawl. She claims it was self-defense after he tormented her for years. Bonolo alleges that the deceased had twice threatened to kill her. The threat to kill cases were pending before the police.
Mothata nga go a tlhokagala ka di 21 ebe ke ya go tshwara ka di 22 ebe ke isa ko 𝐒𝐏𝐳 from 𝐒𝐏𝐳 ebe ke tsengwa mo diseleng 2 days ba dila ntha ka tswalala ko Eben la bobedi ke ntse go lala go mo tokoeng ebe ke isa ko ga Magastrata from Magastrata ebe ke ya ko prison for 14 days le re thokile go tlisisana re thokile go tlisana go hela go nne le kgang ya go lwa ebe go ra re ebe ke hela le bona ke bona re ke ba ba lebe ke re ke iphemela ebe ke dirisa sengwe se se bogale mo go ene le seranta no na makgetha mantsi bile se go tsona di case dingwe sentseng di se di helele gone go police to na ntse tsa matshelo a ba ta go mpola ta 300 kg ana re case sepe na sta na case sepe di 300 kg go police.
In another story, Maponyane Modumo, an ex-prisoner, shared how he nearly killed his girlfriend with a sharp object during a fight in Mogonye in 2020. He was found guilty for unlawful wounding and was sentenced to 12 years in prison.
In 2020, February, I me ka hela ke dirisa se bogale mo go ene ke mo gobatsa mo eletseng a nna mo semong se se kodi mo eletseng a ya sepatela me modimo wa thusa ka nako eo ga se ka ga ba ka ga leso a tshela me e rela go sena go iragala yalo ga ke la teng ya la ke le moga because ke dire lalo ke le mo notageng e ntsi go rile go nna le mathata ke mo notageng e ntsi be jala motsoko motokwane gore all drugs tse neng ke di bona ka nako eo a lawful wounding ka gobatso ka go gobatsa ke tlotsa teng tsotlhe ne ka tlotswe 12 years so in 12 years so we will lebelwa because I got nako so ke tse dingwe e be di na dintshwa mo teng wala ke a boela mo 2 years so ke tsena go trongo gape ntwe so gona no mo teng remission one 8 months mo remission so mo ra ngrena 1 year 4 months 16 months.
These stories highlight the persistent and severe issue of gender-based violence in the country. They depict what has become common in many households in Botswana. While some of these incidents are reported to the police, gender proponents say many are not reported for fear of stigma and shame. More recently, a video showing a certain man in Lobatse assaulting his partner in the presence of their children sparked a national outcry after it went viral. The man was arraigned before the courts to face charges of common assault. This has ignited some fresh calls for stiffer penalties and jail terms for perpetrators.
We saw our mothers, our aunts, our neighbors, our sisters being violated, being beaten, like the prosecutor, in front of their children. I know he's supposed to be an accused person, presumption of innocence and all that, but I will take my lawyer's head off. I do hope that he will be convicted. I am ashamed for my profession that the charge is common assault. The only common thing about it is that it is common. But it's a serious offense. And I really hope that this blot Attorney Mbewe Boate, on our profession will be addressed and dealt with again by a proper naming of this horrendous crime.
UN reports that over 67% of women in Botswana have experienced abuse, which is more than double the global average. Recent reports indicate a troubling rise in gender-based violence in the country. In a 2-week period from late December 2024 to early January 2025, 93 cases of rape and 10 murders of women were reported, with a significant portion of these crimes linked to gender-based violence. Police say enough is enough.
This is also becoming a national crisis now as we speak. And it's not like the numbers are escalating. It's the way that the way they are being committed. The brutality that is meted on people, the way that they are being committed is worrisome. Very worrisome. I wouldn't want to give examples because maybe it will be too much for people to hear about that. But the way they are happening is very worrisome. So we are actually calling upon our citizens to say, Bagaizu, we have heard enough about gender-based violence. We have heard enough about murder cases and other rape cases. This is the time that we have to come together as a nation and say, what is it that we can do?
Police and other local authorities say what is even more worrying is that many GBV survivors, like the one in the 𝐒𝐏𝐬𝐶𝐂𝐈𝐀𝐋 plead for their abusers' release due to emotional attachment, economic dependence, or fear of stigma.
Se sengwe mo la pelo ke gore ya re ga le stele re le tsweletse lona ka dikgang tsena bone ba tswa setlhabelo be ba ga phe ba rra ba re nya ke ga se tlhoke tswela le kganye ke a e tsholla ya no nyena e be gore kana no ga re ke tsholla kgang ena motho kana ke rra go bana ke ena a tlhokometseng bana ke ena a berekana ke ntse helana ga gona se ke se dirang ya no ke ena a njesang ga ya toronko le mosekisa go tla be gore a re go mpaka ko mosi.
Some members of the public feel that part of the reason the country is facing this crisis is that the boy child has been neglected for many years.
GBV ke government kore la ha o tsana ko ministry a gona ministry o mo GBV o le baganye le borre ke GBV ya bo mme o tla go dira sengwe le sengwe go dira sengwe le sengwe go thotsara a go thomenta botshelo jotlhe mme then the day monna ha ka tsa a tselo mo khona ga monna ka nto wena o ikutlwa monna ha mapodisa tla mo gene o ya tronko mme e bila gona ga government go tlhelele anang le banna teng that's why ka re GBV ya gakana
tota ne gore mentale ka ka le ka thata gore bo mme ba hire thata ba iperekele ba ska ba lebella hela mo go borre gongwe 𝐒𝐏𝐄𝐂𝐴 e ka go tlase.
As the silent pandemic continues to rise, officials at the National Gender Commission are calling for urgent action to stop this burning fire.
Botswana, our house is on fire. GBV is a raging fire. And so I'm calling each and every one of us to tap into that knowledge you're just given. That when there's fire, we all run. To say wherever where you are, as a pastor, as a traditional leader, as a funder, as a Botswana, as anyone sitting here, that we need to start and ask ourselves, what is it that I can be able to do to help end GBV in this country? When we talk numbers, we sometimes programmatically think statistics, but we know that beyond those statistics are faces. Beyond those statistics are lives. Beyond those statistics are dreams interrupted.
The hashtag Making GBV Everyone's Concern, led by Botswana Council of NGOs for Congo in partnership with Bonella, aims to help GBV survivors such as the 𝐒𝐏𝐬𝐶𝐂𝐈𝐀𝐋 victim and many others by enhancing access to justice and creating a trust fund to help survivors.
The recent video that circulated of a woman who was being beaten, thrashed, whatever word you can use to show the gravity of it. Guess what? The perpetrator was charged with common assault. But when you looked at that video, it represented everything that speaks to a violation of one person's dignity. Therefore, one of the things that our parliament really needs to take seriously is to ensure that we enact a gender-based violence law. A law that will meet the needs of survivors and ensures that perpetrators are held accountable. We will also work to ensure justice is accessible, swift, and survivor-centered.
But there's also a growing concern in the society that there is lack of political will from government to deal with this crisis. There is some hope, however, as government is said to be drafting a new GBV bill which will introduce harsher sentences for perpetrators. But Minister responsible for Gender Affairs, 𝐒𝐏𝐄𝐂𝐴, has stressed that tackling GBV cannot solely be the responsibility of government, but requires collective action from everyone.
As we note that gender-based violence is a complex phenomenon, we also note that it requires a community-based and multi-sectoral approach. And it requires government, because of that multi-sectoral approach that is required, government has adopted a multi-pronged response strategy. And it includes undertaking legal and policy reforms as well as institutional arrangements.
While the nation is scrambling to find answers to address this pandemic, Mosweyu says it can't be business as usual.
So we might not necessarily have the winning best solutions right now of how to end GBV in Botswana, but it cannot be business as usual. It cannot be just another day. It cannot be because it's not your mother, it's not your father, it's not your sister. It doesn't have to be.
Tsimane, YTV News, Gaborone.